So with that, let us load up Game 2 right now. It is going to be TheLittleOne against White Ra. This is the fourth place match on the TeamLiquid Altitude Invitational. Do go to altitudegame.com and give it a play around. It is an unbelievable game, and of course, big thanks to them for supporting esports. So we do have White Ra spawning in the top right as the orange Protoss, and in the bottom left we have TheLittleOne spawning as the purple Terran. Very curious what style of play TheLittleOne's going to try to deploy today, because honestly, there are some kind of cute, cheesy rushes, but it feels a little bit tougher for Terran on this map.
Yeah, I agree. I'm interested to know if TheLittleOne chose random or if he chose Terran in this map, because he seems to be getting a lot of Terran in these matches.
Yeah.
So he may just be straight up picking Terran. Although I have seen him in other tournaments seemingly going random and bouncing between certain races or just spawning the same race over and over. So actually, this time he's going to put the depot at his choke and wall it off. We haven't seen that for a while. He usually puts his first depot near his main and then walls off with that barracks. So I'm interested to see. This would make me think that he's going to go for some sort of tech route. He wants to just wall off and head up towards Banshees or some sort of drop. That would be my random guess. We can see him scouting for pylons there. Very nice move by him, just making sure there's no funny business going on in his main.
So White Ra is currently up 1-0 in this best of 5 for the fourth place match. Barracks going down right now for TheLittleOne. Has not yet started any sort of gas. Guys are normally would be starting that right now, so it looks like we will be seeing some kind of early expand style out of TLO. We do have the probe bouncing in the main right now. Oh, this is going to be the most obnoxious thing in the universe. Look at this little one having to pull another SCV off mining. And of course, this probe, look. Oh, perfect timing by White Ra. Look at this. Drops down to 20 shields, moves around, and will happily regain. Look how fast those shields are regaining. Already at 10 shields, 15. And once it pops back up to 20, he's going to whip right back around and begin sparring with this SCV again. We do see that the cybernetics core should be starting. There's the cybernetics core. White Ra is a little bit late on starting that, but everything's pretty normal going into game 2.
I just want to let everyone know, if you're loading up replays and they're not working out for you with the minimap, if you drag the replay file onto the StarCraft shortcut, that'll bring the minimap back. So I am very happy to see that, and I wish I knew that earlier. As we see the command center going down, so it looks like TheLittleOne actually is going to play the exact same build as he played last time, at least opening up, but just with a little bit of rearrangement of his buildings. Is he going to do that supply drop? No, he's actually getting a mule, so he shuffled things around a little bit. I'm not sure why on this map. Maybe it's just the rush distance or something like that, or it's a two-player map. I'm sure there's a reason for it. Zealot coming in again, but with this relatively safe wall and 3 Marines out, he should be okay from it.
Zealot trying to charge up there. Ooh, that's a little bit tricky by TheLittleOne. Completely convinced that Zealot that there actually was space. And I almost thought there was for a minute too. White Ra just confidently charged right on up there. Hey, get this, chill. Guess what White Ra is researching right now? He's getting his warp gates up. So that's a little bit interesting decision.
Wow.
Throwing us commentators off after creating a pattern throughout the entire game. And looks like a lot of gateways being made. Are we going to see 3 warp gates? Yes, indeed. This is the classic opening in Protoss vs. Terran. 3 warp gate. Getting to the front very quickly on and just throwing force fields at the ramp endlessly. And there's very little that the Terran can actually do about it. We do have 2 more barracks being produced, total of 3. Again, love that very fast orbital command at the choke. He starts gaining energy so early in that fashion. So overall, pretty typical setup.
I'm interested to see how TLO finishes with the Stalker again charging up. There's 2 Stalkers this time with a Zealot just to take damage, and they found a nice little position to stand there. 1 Stalker taking damage. Now they're going to charge back up and just start deal. Wow, 2 Marine kills, really. Found like the perfect range that he can sit and harass. Yeah, seriously, TLO needs a Marauder out or something. Oh my god, just going to town on these. Is this supply depot actually going to die?
Oh my god, it's down
I never
to
knew
50,
you could do this with
20,
Stalkers.
Done. Jesus. TheLittleOne looks like he's just going to let it fall and is going to try to charge with SCVs and Marines. No, he's going to try to back off a little bit. This is an incredibly awkward position for the Little One right now. And look at this, White Raw warping in only Stalkers. Does he have anything else? No, it's just a big Stalker push right now for White Raw. Look at the size of the Stalker force. He's moving up there. There's only one Marauder. It falls immediately. Oh my god, White Raw getting a ton of kills on these Marines. One Stalker does fall. And oh, it looks like he's target firing the SCVs a little bit too much. Some nice micro by White Raw, bringing that injured Stalker back. Little One tries to target fire it, but look at how much damage these Stalkers are doing. Another Marauder pops out. 1 kill, 2 kills. Those Stalkers are getting cleaned up very quickly, but more Stalkers en route for White Raw. Oh, never mind. More Stalkers in the oh god, in the garbage bin right there. Look at that. Stalkers are
very nice
going
round. He's got the bunker up now. If he can get a Marauder in there, he's gonna live to fight another day. Still might be a little bit behind. Bunker goes up. Those Stalkers have got to get out there. They can't do anything against the bunker with the Marauder in there, and they run away. And how is White Raw going to transition out of this? He's going to take his expansion, which is about a third up. No more tech buildings from him. Scan going off, so TLO knows about that. But I don't think White Raw needs to continue this attack. He can just stay aggressive. I like that he's adding sentries. When TLO goes to take that expansion, he can just be so obnoxious with that force field when those units try to move down the ramp. That is just so frustrating when someone has 3 or 4 sentries outside your ramp, and every time you go down, you lose a unit because it gets cut off from the force field. So obnoxious.
So we do see that the Twilight Council is being started. White Raw continuing to chrono boost the probes in his main. Now, Little One and White Raw have sparred off before in show matches. White Raw generally gets the best of the Little One, and Little One doing a pretty decent job holding his own after that big push. If we go to the food count, they are pretty close in terms of food, and I love this very, very early stem from the Little One. He hasn't gotten any sort of concussive shell yet. He's emphasizing largely Marines, and Ghost being produced as well. We see a Ghost Academy in the back. That 5th barracks is finished now for the Little One. He loves this Marine Marauder Ghost composition, even sometimes doing it against Zerg and using that snipe, but it will be all EMP today. Templar Archives going down for White Raw. No Zealot leg speed, no blink, and here comes the big attempt at pushing down. The Little One needs to try to avoid these force fields as much as possible.
Yeah, let's see what happens. Oh, and there's the force field just blocking everything off. Where is the Ghost in all of this? Does not have enough for an EMP yet, just at about 70 energy. More force fields. SCV's all clumped up. Wow, the command center taking heavy damage there. Now going to get repaired, but it's going to be so difficult for him to get down through these force fields unless he can get some heroic EMP off. Gonna try again to move forward. Let's see the force field this time. EMP goes off. That time, oh my god, Stim coming out. So much damage being done by this army of the Little One with those Marauders taking out the Stalkers. Oh my god, he just cut right through that. And now he's regained his expansion, and he can continue to push forward, or he can just expand comfortably and move into the mid-game, or he can do both. But very nice. That EMP was so critical to getting out of his base.
Yeah, and those, and also it helped that those were the 2 worst force fields I've ever seen in my life. I mean, that one force field was like north of the ramp, and then there was another one just sort of in the middle of the Marine Marauder group. It's easy to misclick in a spot like that, but I mean, really, the entire strategy rests on your ability to precisely place one force field to shut the ramp off. In fact, Nazgul only like force fields in some circumstances. I mean, he will just send a ton of sentries and just force field you infinitely, and you can never exit. It looks like Little One going for a little bit of a push here. One Templar is out. Is Storm done? No, not even started. And it looks like some nice micro by the Little One. White Raw's going to need to bring everything back. Is concussive shell done? No, it hasn't even been started. That is really going to hurt this attack for the Little One. White Raw's going to have a much easier time defending. White Raw now warping in. A ton of Zealots from behind trying to draw this Marine Marauder force back. Ooh, warping in directly in front of the Little One, but without any concussive shell, it's going to be so hard for the Little One to maintain this aggressive stance.
Yeah, Stim about to run out. A lot of these units in the deep red, but nice micro by the Little One. He's got a Ghost here with just about enough to EMP. I'm not sure. Oh, wow, an Archon? I have not seen one of those in many, many years. So this Archon is taking forever to merge. Good God. It's almost done. It's almost done. All right, here we go. Where's that Ghost? Is it going to EMP? No. So here comes the Archon. Let's see if it can actually do anything, or if it's as useful as people say. No, wow, it's very, very useless. Yeah, that sucks. And that is GG. Game. So the story of this series seems to be, one person puts a lot of pressure, breaks the other person's expansion, and then he says, whatever, I didn't need that anyway, and just comes back and wins the game.
Standard. And, I mean, that's... I'm a little disappointed that the Archon was so completely ineffective in that circumstance. I mean, I want that to be a little bit more than a 350 hit point paperweight. However, I mean, the real issue with that game is that White Raw just did not have precise force fields. When the Little One first tried to push down that ramp, there were 2 force fields that were thrown down, and then shortly thereafter, another 2 to block it. And then when Little One came down with that final push, 1 force field just was way off to the top. I mean, White Raw needs to have a little bit tighter mouse control and plant that force field directly in the center of the ramp. That's the only way he can hope to maintain strength as the game goes on.
Right, and that would have bought him so much time to move towards whichever tech he wanted. The other thing I wanted to point out that I was looking at while that game was going on was looking at the income tab between the Protoss and Terran players. You would think if you build a command center and you're not using it to mine minerals, that it's not going to, you're going to be behind maybe 40% of the income. But if you looked at the tabs, just because the Little One could keep using those mules from the expansion command center, he was only ever behind by about 100 minerals per minute income, which is so interesting to me because that command center was sitting idle there for minutes, like upwards of 5 minutes. It wasn't mining any minerals, but just being able to use the mules from that allowed him to bring it, that much closer. So I would have if you just told me, they were that close, I would have been shocked. And I think that's one of the key points that let the Little One keep that army composition heavy enough that he could break out, win that first battle, as you said, due to the misplaced force fields, and then come out with such a strong force to punish White Raw.
Absolutely.